We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Teacher, leave them kids alone. Hey! Teacher, leave them kids alone.
Processed foods refer to any food that's changed from its natural state. This can include food that is simply cut, washed, heated, pasteurized, canned, cooked, frozen, dried, rehydrated, mixed or packaged. In a society such as our own, can we be processed like that of food? And if so, how? Cut could refer to someone who is cut up, in pieces to say, whether a heartbreak or a similar event or trauma that leaves one cut up, sliced in pieces.
I've given you all of my heart, but there's someone who's torn it apart, and she's taken just all that I had. But if you want, I'll try to love again.
Heated is a term used to describe high tension, anger and or excitement. People full of anger or excitement are heated and change from their original state.
This is what officers face at football matches every week. They've come to watch a game but are instead intent on making a scene. It is still an hour to kick off outside Wembley, but officers are being tested, as are tempers.
I've been selling my soul.
Cooked is a term used to describe someone who is extremely tired, overwhelmed or inebriated. Generally overworked peoples, exhausted either physically, mentally or emotionally.
What the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
That has a long-lasting effect on the person's life. Washed or washed up is a term to describe people who have fallen out of popularity and or no longer successful, with their careers or lives being ruined.
I'm traveling here below, for
Canned is a term that is used to describe a person which is in prison. Offenders are often in the can, their lives ruined often from this.
away my burdens, for they're so hard to bear. But I know there's consolation as long as I know you're there. Yes it is, yes it is.
Frozen, or as cold as ice, is a term used for people that are very cold. They are emotionally cold, changed from their natural state to one of being without emotions for others.
How'd you get the nickname? Killer? Killed a couple of gooks in a bomb crater one time. Claymores. Blew a couple of claymores open. Put a few 60 rounds into them. They was taking a bath. So, just proves not to take no baths while you're in the field. What's your feelings about killing? Don't have it. Doesn't mean nothing.
Frozen heart that's standing all alone, chilled because your love's forever gone. I'm needing you like a cold hand needs a glove. Take my heart and won't you warm it with your love.
And with things such as dehydrated food that has a significant proportion of its water content removed, may relate to such things as people starving physically and spiritually, people without or with a lack of water and food, which ultimately recede on themselves. But in the same token, water could represent emotion or spirituality, which is slowly sucked from ourselves like life force. Most people lose faith in life, in all spirits and things, due to society and its ways.
All summer, factory men kept check on the growing crop to make sure the quality and quantity would be right. And they know they will have the right amount to fill the demand. Of course, these ripe, luscious beauties, fairly bursting with vitamins, will go into other
All
things
this
besides
talk of getting old,
nourishing soups and delicious
it's getting me down, my love, like a cat in a bag, waiting to drown. This time I'm coming down.
Pasteurization is a process involving heating which is said to eliminate pathogens and extend shelf life. Often linked is partial sterilization. Sterilization in humans is medical, so it could be linked to humans that have been medically treated.
Now the drugs don't work, they just make you worse. But I know I'll see your face again.
Mixed up can refer to people who are mentally and emotionally mixed up. Being pulled from one side to another, they become mixed and change from their natural state to one that is confused or mixed.
They just make you worse, but I know I'll see your face again.
These just some of the ways a human can be processed. Essentially, we are energy, just like food. And a plant, which is a type of food, have the ability to absorb, just like ourselves. Whether that be physically, via our manipulated food, drink and air, or mentally and emotionally, via the visuals and audios we are given via such things as TVs.
I just wanna watch TV.
We know with each of these processing methods, the appliances or applications vary. With food, the cooker, the freezer and other appliances within a kitchen aid these methods. With the human, the appliances again vary, but again are different. The TV is an appliance of change, can heat up a person, turn a person cold, or equally cut them up. The radio is another appliance, the tablet, the phone, technology made to influence, to change.
I don't wanna talk right now. I just wanna watch TV.
But as stated before, these are only alongside the physical avenues at play, such as manipulated air and food, and not forgetting the processes that come through these applications via the TV, via the radio, such as the news, and what influence that has in processing change in an individual. The system itself, working 9 to 5, often cooks an individual. Remembering cooked is a term used to describe someone who is extremely tired, overworked, or inebriated. Although these processes can change an individual physically, they mostly work on a mental and emotional level. Changes us at those levels, changing us mentally and emotionally, and then in turn affecting the physical. For it's been learnt too much physical processing, putting too much strain on a person, will or may lead them to rebelling. They no longer target the physical. We are given the illusion we are free. Such things of slavery have gone, the method of processing removed, only to be replaced with a different type of constraint that changes one. Seemingly, we have gone from being cooked in an open fire to being steamed. The latter process is one that is mostly unseen. Like when we watch the TV, we aren't aware we are being processed. We are being changed, programmed, pulled from one side to the other, made to think, made to process the information which ultimately leads to change within. We are seen as food, maybe not as far as physically being eaten, but we are essentially energy, and we provide nourishment for peoples around us, such as our children. The more we are processed and changed, it not only affects us, but how we are and how we nourish others. Just like food that can be helpful or harmful. Just like us, we can provide nourishment to others or ultimately poison them.
Sitting on the train, you're a leader, you're a part of the production line. You're this famous him, you like to start things. Get out of the pack before they kill you back.
By us taking control back of our input, not allowing ourselves to be processed like that of food, healthy and full of life energy, not being manipulated physically, mentally and emotionally, which is ultimately changed. The definition of food is any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. And the definition of to eat is to ingest, chew, swallow, destroy or consume. So if we are seen as food, it is as simple as we are the nutritious substance filled with life energy that gets absorbed in order to maintain life or growth, with eating meaning to ingest, chew, swallow, destroy or consume. We essentially are food for society's system. We get absorbed into the system which has been built to grow, and it is we that are its substance. For too long have we allowed ourselves to be manipulated and changed, unaware mostly we are at this manipulation at play. It is time for us to reverse the programming and return to our natural state, instead of being food for others' plate. With this said, meditative and divine the process of cooking can be, losing oneself in the art of creation, making something more of something less. Nothing is all of one thing. We should all be aware of the difference between food processed at a factory versus that prepared and cooked by a trained chef. We should all be able to honestly say that a frozen meal is far less of a meal than one prepared by a quality chef.
I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust.
Mountains of food are processed at a factory in a quick, rushed manner for purpose of quantity, versus the food which is selected, handpicked by a chef and prepared in a manner for quality.
Shall you take refuge? Oh,
we could say the hierarchical system we are placed in is the factory, which mass produces the people's characteristics and traits, with the other scenario being much finer, the head chef of this realm being God or higher divine intelligence, and trained wise people being chefs that work for the head chef. Following God or a trained wise person is far better than following the societal system, the values and morals far richer. The same as eating freshly cooked food from a chef is far better than a frozen microwavable meal. When processed correctly, we follow the right process for quality, whereas when we are processed by society and a system, following our false idols, we are processed for profit, and likewise things such as control and manipulation. The art of true cooking or refinement aim is to transmute something into something fuller, rather than something lesser. Maybe we can coin it alchemical transmutation, which is simply improving and refining the self, which is generally the narrow path taken by few. This is the many versus the few, and very similar is life and the masses of people that undergo societal processing like that of the factory versus those that undergo true refining. It is only a selected amount of people that seemingly prepared by someone or something of a higher quality. Not to say our parents and people around us aren't good, simply they are also products of society that have also been processed, passing down inherited programming trauma. Teachers, priests and like people for the common person are mostly of a general standard, and then the additions into society of fame and celebrity, those standards are as low as ever. For celebrities are praised for fame but rarely hold any worthwhile quality, aren't necessarily wise or give good guidance. Essentially they are part of the factory, the system, keeping it going, pacifying the rest. For some of the food is used to keep the other food in place and promote its services. The celebrity is like the picture of the Big Mac in McDonald's that promote the way of life, promote the product.
This fella's so famous, we don't even need to tell you its name. You know where to get it, and you know you want one right now.
It's like 1,000 potatoes being processed through a peeling machine versus one that is hand peeled, much more care going into the latter, with the machine maybe taking away too much or too little, whereas when prepared by the chef, the right amount is always taken and transmuted, nothing ever wasted.
oh, surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with feathers, and under His wings shall you take refuge.
The process involved in the factory, such as heating, freezing, cooking and peeling, are dual in their nature. All the processes are dual, depending on the manner in which they are conducted. For even with boiling, the chef will add stock, salt, pepper and other worthy ingredients to improve and enhance the flavour. Again, not cooking too much, just the right amount, and selected they are, versus the factory's process. When it comes to vegetables and food, the best is said to be organic. Now, organic vegetables are grown without fertilizer, chemicals and pesticides. Basically, they are pure. Similar would be a person who hasn't been programmed and processed through the system, being fed with love, compassion, knowledge and wisdom, grown from truth, from real substances and principles, rather than man-made or produced, like the human who is fed with the right principles instead of false and programmed information.
My Lord.
As we know, for any quality meal, just as to say with gardening and growing substance, preparation is key. So peeling and washing isn't necessarily a negative when done in the right manner. Peeling can be seen as peeling back and taking away what is unneeded or old. Washing can be seen as washing away the dirt or toxics that are harmful. For the human, this would be the start of the transmutation. Firstly, they would have to prepare themselves, take away what is unneeded, only keep what is worthy. The flip side, which we have explored, is the machine of society, which prepares and cooks the individual in numerous ways, all in aid of profit for the factory, in our case businesses, corporations and the system in place. They are prepared in no real technical manner, with no real care or effort for purpose of profit. The heating and freezing in the factory explained as a negative due to how it changes an individual, again on a smaller scale, can be beneficial. The heating and freezing like the sword being tempered with fire and ice. The chef heating or freezing only in accordance with taking the best from the product or attempting to gain the best results. Similar to the alchemical process, heating always a prominent part. Rather than all the vegetables being thrown into one huge pot, processed at the factory to be boiled, again they are selected, placed accordingly, only the right amount heated for the right amount of time. Within the education system, going to a public school versus that of a private tutor, the tutor can focus and put more care into each child, rather than just trying to get the whole class through the public schooling system. Or even with religion or spirituality, practicing with a trained, wise guru or tutor far outweighs that of attending an online class. Even with chopping, sometimes parts of an object are chopped or cut off to benefit the rest. Cutting off or chopping when unneeded isn't recommended, but when needed, like in the human whose leg is poisoned, may have the leg removed to save the rest of the body. In terms of alchemical transmutation, we must remove the gross and leave the subtle, leaving the good, removing the bad. So, like with all things in life, the processing of a human is dual. One aids the system in terms of creating a profitable, slave-like being, continuing the cycle of society and its system, versus the other which aids the individual and in turn aids society, but in a far different way, not a profitable slave-like being, but one that aids others, the world and themselves. The latter isn't manipulated and controlled like the former. However, in most cases we have no control over whether we are processed via the factory, which is the system of society, or the higher avenue of the chef. The argument would be free will versus a divine plan. For why does the chef choose the ingredients he does? There may be many factors involved, and one of those factors, look for some divinity. For a chef visits a farm for apples, and all the apples are organic and of a high quality, of an A quality. Which one does he choose? Hard it is to tell the difference between organic and non-organic crops at times, as it's not external but internal. To the eye they may look no different, but within they are far different, the organic holding far much substance within. Like with people, it's hard to know or see who has the right qualities just simply by looking at something or someone. Ultimately, a lot is outside of our control. As we know with the world, we cannot stop certain things. Certain things are outside of our control. We cannot turn day to night or stop natural disasters to say, but it's not always the actions that matter, but the result. And the result is how we process the events and happenings that we are unwillingly put through. Remember, you can only be the best of what you are, so be the best of what you are. Uphold your qualities. The organic vegetable is far fewer in number than the average vegetable. There are far less of them, just like there are far less peoples of the heart than there are of the mind. But numbers are numbers, and each one counts. May we add substance, life and truth to the world instead of toxicity and falsity. Love and light to all.